Oh, my lovies, we have a great lesson today. We're going to talk about words that have L in the sound, in the word. And that'll be an easy one. L is an easy sound. It's L. And you have to put your tongue behind your front teeth. And if you've started losing some front teeth, it can be kind of hard. The picture that I used for L, is called Lapping Lion. And I want you to look what that lion is doing. He's getting a drink of water, but he can't work a water fountain, or he can't hold a glass of water and drink it. So he takes his tongue and he laps up the water into his mouth. And this reminded me of a Bible story, which is just so great. It's the story of Gideon. And Gideon, the Mennonites, people who did not love the Lord, were fighting with Gideon. And they had captured a lot of the land that Gideon and God's people should be on. And so God told Gideon to get his army. They were going to fight, and they were going to win against the Midianites. Well, it's a great story, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit of it. When Gideon got all his men together, the Lord said to Gideon, Gideon, you have too many soldiers. I don't want that many soldiers, because if you win the battle, your soldiers might say, there were so many of us, we were the one that won the battle. God didn't win it for us. And God wanted to show his people that he cared about them and he was in charge. So he said, Gideon, I want you to make your army smaller. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to say to your soldiers, if any of you are afraid, if you don't want to fight the Midianites, if it's too scary for you, I want you to go home to your family. And lots of his soldiers did that. God looked at the army and he said, Gideon, it is still too large. I want you to take your army down to the river and tell them to take a drink of water. And I will show you the soldiers that I want you to use for this battle. And when they went down to the river, there were two different ways that they could drink. You could just put your head down into the water and gulp and gulp and gulp as much as you wanted. Or you could scoop up some water with your hand and use your tongue to lap it up into your mouth. That would take a little bit more work. It would mean that you wouldn't get as much water as fast. We don't know why God chose that. But God said, Gideon, I only want you to use the soldiers who lap up the water. So the soldiers that cupped their hand and took the water to their mouth and used their tongue to get the water into their mouth, those were the soldiers that Gideon was to use. And you know what? There were not very many. The Bible tells us there were 300 only against thousands of Midianites. But God was in control and he had a plan. I'm not going to tell you the rest of the story. It's a wonderful story, and I want you to know it, but I want us to get on with reading our words. There's a wonderful story about how the battle was won. They didn't even have to use bows and arrows or anything. God won the battle for them. God was showing them that he's more powerful. He is really in control, even if it doesn't seem like it will happen. So that's a great story. Now let's get to some words that have L in it. Sure, log, and you know what a log is. It's a tree that's fallen. They can make log cabins. Lap, I have a couple of pictures for lap. If you swim from one end to the other in a swimming pool, then that's called swimming a lap. Or if you run around the track one whole time, that's called taking a lap. Or if you sit on your daddy's lap to look at the new baby, then you're sitting on his lap. 3 sounds, lock. Ah, sure, clock. Last. She's the last in line. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to change that vowel. Yep. Now it's going to say I. Ist. List. And you can make a list to go to the grocery store, a list of things that you need to do. We say Santa Claus makes a list of all the good boys and girls. Do you see a smaller word? It. Lit. She lit the candle. It means it's already happened. Do you see the smaller word and? Land. And you know land and the sea. There's the land. Int, lint. And lint is when little threads from other clothes, like when the dryer, some of the little threads may come off and they get on your clothes sometimes. And if you're wearing something dark, then you try to get that lint off. And in the dryer, after you've done a load of clothes, you take the lint and you brush that off so that the dryer starts clean every time with no more threads in it. Lick, 3 sounds. Oh, yeah. Amp, lamp. Plant. Yep. Jack and the Beanstalk had quite a plant. It should grow there. He puts the beans in and it grows. Ill, just 2 sounds. Remember, when you see 2 consonants the same, we're only going to give it 1 sound. So this word, even though it has 3 letters, it only has 2 sounds. Ill. And ill is another word for being sick. He's sick today. He's ill today. He's feeling ill. Now, let's put an M in front. Mill. And a mill is a great thing. Before they had electricity, they used it all the time. You remember the story of the little red hen. She planted the wheat, and then she harvested the wheat, and then she had to take the wheat to the mill. And a mill, this is a real mill. It always has to have water, a river or a little waterfall here, because the water is going to go around this wheel. And this wheel has they're like little buckets in it. And when the water goes in, it makes it get real heavy and it'll turn the wheel around. And once this wheel is turning around, it's not using electricity, it's just using that water. There's a pole, and inside it is turning this big stone on top of this big flat stone. This is called a millstone. And the little red hen, or real farmers, would put their wheat grain right there, but they want to smash it up and make it fine powder flour so that you can bake something. So as this big rock comes around, then it is going to crush the wheat so that we can make flour. And that's what a mill is. That's an easy one. Jack and Jill went up the hill. A hill is smaller than a mountain. Pull. You remember, 2 L's together is just going to make 1 sound. Oh, I'm not sure who's pulling the hardest. Ill. It's going to fill the cup. And then full. Oh, his mailbox is full of letters. Ill, will, and there's no capital, so this is not a name. This isn't Uncle Will. This is Will. All right, go ahead and read that sentence. Will it rain? Now, we'll take away the W. Still. Still. She's going to say, stand still. She's trying to hem his pants. He has to stand still so she can figure out how long his pants should be. Gill. That's the part of the fish where the water comes in and the fish takes the oxygen out of the water that it needs. All right, is that a B or a D? Sure, it's a D. If I put a circle on the top, it's not going to be a B, so I know it's a D. Drill. You know, Dad uses a drill sometimes if he needs to make holes in walls or boards or something. Drill. Belt. Belt. Milk. Sure, milk. Tastes great. Okay. Rat. Tall. Okay. I want you to notice that this E is not going to do anything. Let me blend it for you. Rattle. I didn't say eh. Rattle eh. You remember, and you are good at telling me, that vowels are very important. Every word needs a vowel. Well, guess what? Every syllable needs a vowel. So if I clap out rattle, rattle, it's 2 syllables and it has to have 2 vowels. Well, this is only going to make 1 sound, rattle. I don't need any more sounds, but I have to have a vowel, so we have put E on the end of it. Sometimes when you see E on the end of the word, it's not doing anything but giving that syllable a vowel. All right, here's another one. Pebble. Pebble. There's that E. I don't say pebble, eh? It's just there because every syllable needs a vowel. And a pebble is a little rock. And tickle. Tickle. All right. Sometimes that E will do something. We call it a silent E, and it'll signal other vowels to say stuff. But this is not the case. It's just there so that every syllable gets a vowel. Okay, now we're going to do some number words when we do our sentences. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're going to be in our sentences. Are you ready? 1 pup and 2 cats. All right, take a look. Did you notice this apostrophe S? Does this mean a lot of dads? No, it means dad. Something is going to belong to dad. The very next word is what belongs to dad. 1 pup and 2 cats sat on dad's lap. Three little pigs. All right, do you see ED on the end? It means it already happened. Hopped. All right, read the whole thing for me. 3 little pigs hopped in the mud. It already happened. Remember, when I see that ED, I'm going to cover it up, and I'm going to do this word, dropped, and then put the ED at the end. Bill dropped 4 cups and 5 glasses. Read the whole thing for me. Bill dropped 4 cups and 5 glasses. Oh, Bill, that's the problem. All right, here's our word family. Et. Ready? I'm going to try to go fast. Et, b, g, j, l, m, n, p, s, f, w, y, for. Oh, good reading and good sliding that day. Take care, polar bear. Love you.